Hey guys, here we're going to see the difference between Archer's hot pressed and Archer's cold pressed, and the sheets are ready down here. I don't know if it looks clear on the video, I mean the texture, but the cold pressed has these ridges, it's rough, and the hot pressed is really smooth. So today here we're just going to make the same painting on both the sheets, and I'm just starting with my first rose on the hot pressed, but I have to say that I personally use the cold pressed papers a lot. So I felt like on the hot pressed I was a bit unprepared, and I'm actually playing with the paint way more than I will do on the cold pressed. But yes, I'm finishing up my petals on the hot press now, and I'm just grabbing some more paint and getting ready for the cold pressed. So let's start with those tiny petals in the middle of the rose and moving on to the outer petals with some thicker brush strokes. And wow, I felt like the brush was becoming so dry right after, when you paint on the hot pressed. It felt like, yes, the cold press sheets are really absorbing that water from the brush. Basically, it's making your brush dry. So I'm just preparing some more paint here, and this time less water than the first one, and we'll see how it looks like on the hot pressed. So starting with the middle of the rose now, I'm going to make thicker strokes for the outer petals. I'm a bit more careful this time on the hot pressed, and I feel like this looks much better than the first one. And I really like how it looks like, actually. I mean, how the hot pressed gives that depth to the petals there. So moving on to the cold pressed here, finishing up with those petals. And yes, naturally the brush is drying up much more, as you can see, than it was on the hot pressed. Basically, I think on the hot pressed I stopped. I don't think the brush was drying up yet, but now I'm grabbing thicker paint, really less amount of water, just to see how vibrant it can look like. It looks amazing. Just adding these lighter shades of the outer layer of the rose, the outer petals of the rose. And I'm actually using a thicker paint for the cold pressed third rose as well. As you can see, it is more vibrant than the first two roses on the cold pressed. But I personally feel like the hot pressed remains to be vibrant, while the cold pressed is actually absorbing that paint, right? So it looks a bit not so vibrant than the hot pressed. So here we're just making some more leaves now. Finishing up with the third one. Then I think I'll just add some more leaves to all the three roses and just add different shades of green and brown and red, just like how the leaves of the rose would look like. I don't know how to explain this, but the hot pressed, the leaf on the hot press, the strokes that I did, it's naturally bringing out that depth and that curve on that leaf. I just feel like it's naturally beautiful the way it is on the hot pressed. I'm not working so much on giving that depth to the shape of the leaf, I mean, and just adding some more leaves now. Let's see how it actually looks like when I try to uh, add a second color on top of the first layer. So let's just zoom in and add a leaf on the hot pressed first with a reddish leaf, basically the first layer. And I'm just grabbing some more green to bleed on it and see how it looks like. And see, it's so beautiful, it just bleeds in and blends in. Now on the hot pressed, I'm just grabbing that reddish paint now for the leaf, and we'll see how it looks like when I try to add the green on this. It was more water, I think, on the first one, and we'll see. So as you can see, it's not really bleeding, because there's no ridges on the hot press naturally, so it just stays there, and it's definitely vibrant. But I feel like I should have taken really less amount of water, but the cold pressed, as you can see, it just bleeds in naturally. I've taken really less water now and thicker paint, and I'm just going to add the green on the hot pressed third leaf. Really vibrant, right? I think, yeah, it needs some more working there. So this is what happened when I did exactly like I would do on the cold pressed. Yeah. Now I'm just adding some more leaves on the cold pressed. Zooming in and see how the bleeding happens. It's really blending out really beautifully, and it's done on the cold pressed. It's so beautiful. And on the hot pressed, again a lot of water, so I'm just absorbing it on the tissue. It really needs less water probably, and because I just want to see how it bleeds in and blends in much better, I would say. It definitely bleeds actually, as you can see on the hot pressed, but so it basically means you need really less water. So this is how it looks like. The strongest differences that I could feel as a frequent cold pressed user was that the hot pressed needed really less water than I would use on the cold pressed. More the water on hot pressed, you play around a lot with your strokes basically. But the hot pressed gives these natural depth to your leaves, your petals. So it gives this natural depth, as you can see, in the curve. So that was beautiful. And the colors are more vibrant on the hot pressed than on the cold pressed. And the cold pressed bleeding and blending is much better, and in hot pressed it's not as easy as it is in the cold pressed. These are the main differences that I could see. Thank you for watching.